I'm Attorney Stephen Rue, and today we're going to talk about a petition for protection from stalking or from sexual assault. You may have heard of a petition for protection from abuse. Well, that deals specifically with a civil pleading asking for the court to protect that person or the minor children from domestic violence. But today we're talking about a petition for protection from stalking, cyber stalking, or sexual abuse. So in this particular case, a person in Louisiana can file a petition for protection from stalking or sexual assault by filing this petition. And this petition is a standardized form that you will find at the Supreme Court, Louisiana Supreme Court website, at the clerk of court for any district court in Louisiana, or any competent family lawyer should have this on file to be able to provide to you. And in that, you can seek protection from, it could be a family member, an acquaintance, or even someone that you do not know, a stranger. And today we're going to go through how to fill this out. Of course, I'm not your attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice. As the disclaimer said earlier in this tutorial, I'm not here to be your attorney. I'm simply giving a tutorial on the process of filling out a petition for protection from stalking or sexual assault. With that said, let's get started. What is stalking? What is cyber stalking? And what is sexual assault? Well, in Louisiana, stalking is used for purposes of a civil petition for protection is actually the criminal definition of stalking. You pretty much probably know what it is, how it, if someone is acting in such a way, behaving in such a way that you know when you're stalked or when a loved one is stalked. Cyber stalking is stalking by the internet, through the internet, and sexual assault is pretty self-explanatory. These cases allow you to file civilly a petition for protection from stalking or sexual assault. Of course, you may also have protection in Louisiana law if the stalking, cyber stalking, or sexual assault has become criminal in nature, and you can consult the district attorney's office or your local law enforcement for those purposes. But that is not the purpose or scope of this tutorial. It's purely on a civil petition for protection from stalking or sexual assault of you or any of your minor children. Would be get this form, fill it out. The victim is the petitioner. The person who committed the stalking, cyber stalking, or sexual assault is the defendant. Put their name there. You put your name and your date of birth on this form, and then who you're trying to protect in this civil proceeding. Is it yourself, or is it also minor children? You can, if so, list the minor children and their date of birth here as well. You have the ability to ask for your address to be confidential, or you can actually list the address here. You also need to put the address of the defendant down below. On the second page of the form, it asks what parish the defendant resides in, what parish you reside in, and what parish did the events of stalking or sexual assault occur in. That's important because jurisdiction for a particular court to hear the case, the actual event of stalking or sexual assault must have occurred in that parish, or the defendant resides in that parish, or you, the victim, reside in the parish. Then they ask you, and as far as the stalking is concerned, they specifically ask you in paragraph 6, what did they do? Did they follow you? Did they harass you? Did they have uninvited presence in your home, in your workplace, at your school, or other places? Did they send telephone calls, text, emails, or other electronic communications to the protected person? Did they send messages via third party, letter, pictures, public posts to social media? Send unwanted gifts to protected person? Did they imply or actually threaten the protected person with bodily harm or threaten their life? Use tracking devices, stalk, harm, threaten protected person or a member of protected person's family or acquaintance of protected person? Implied or actual threats of kidnapping, implied or threats of sexual assault, possess a dangerous weapon during the foregoing behaviors, and threaten protected person with a dangerous weapon or other, where you can put other events that may have occurred or not. In B of paragraph 6 deals with various specific acts of sexual assault. Touch person in various areas, for which you can just read and apply and check the areas that apply to you in this. Now, on paragraph 6, they also are asking for you to provide a narrative of the actual stalking event, cyber stalking, and or sexual assault that occurred upon you or the minor children, and you can put all of the information here. It also has a place for past events, past incidences. You put a narrative there. If you need more paper, you can say, please see attachment, and add more attachments to this pleading, and then literally attach it to it when filed. Please see continued Exhibit A, Exhibit B, etc. So you can do that on this form. And then paragraph 7 is you're asking the court to grant you protection in various ways against the person contacting you, being near you, being near your residence, your work, your school, any place that you may be, evicting the defendant from some place that you may cohabitate, meaning living in the same place, have a person granted the sole possession of a leased premise. There are a variety of things, and you just have to go through and see which of these matters actually apply to you. And then you actually ask for the cost of the proceeding, whether or not you want professional counseling for the defendant, the defendant to pay attorney's fees, evaluation, expert fees, cost of any psychological care of the protected person as a result of the stalking or sexual assault and other, and then check the applicable things associated with the cost, attorney's fees, etc. Make sure that you sign this petition and that you put the defendant's name in places where that person is to be served. And it's important that these petitions for protection from stalking or sexual assault have an affidavit that you have to sign before a notary that of the facts and allegations that you were saying in this petition are true and correct and are factually based. So you need to have that notarized, and then you can file it. It is also helpful if you also simultaneously get the actual order of protection, which comes with the petition for protection from stalking or sexual assault. And in that, you fill out your name and who the protected persons, whether it be you and or the minor children, and the defendant's name. It's also important to provide as much information as you can with regard to date of birth, whether the person's sex is male or female, the race, the address, the social security, driver's license number, etc., if you happen to have that information. The more information, the better it is, so that they can locate this person, and if the person is found to have committed these civil offenses, then that will be put in the protective registry in the state of Louisiana. So it's important that after you file that you, number one, may have a temporary restraining order that the court, after reviewing your pleadings that were filed, may say, okay, you are the protected person, or the minor children are protected people that need immediate protection, and the judge may give you a temporary restraining order, or simply may set the matter for a contradictory hearing. That means basically a trial. So it's important that when you go to court, you provide any and all evidence that you want to present. Any photographs, any videos, any recordings, any certified medical records, any certified police reports. It's also important to have all your witnesses there. The police officers, anyone that's going to testify on your behalf that have material information with regard to your case, you need to make sure that they're there. You have the ability to ask the clerk to assist in issuing subpoenas to have witnesses appear on your behalf at the trial date, but the trial date is when you must present your case. So you cannot rely on just statements of people that, even affidavits of people that don't want to show up. Generally, the courts will not look at that because it's called hearsay, meaning that it's a third-party statement that is trying to assert a truth of the contents of whatever that statement is. So as a result of that, they generally don't look at that. That's why you want to have any of your witnesses there. If you're a victim of stalking, cyber stalking, or sexual assault, I suggest that you look into this option. You, of course, also have the ability to contact law enforcement for any criminal proceedings, but that's not what this tutorial is about. I wish you the very best. If you have any questions about this tutorial, please do not hesitate to reach me. Have a good day.